Welcome to Disc Review. This is Max.
And I'm Matt.
On this show, we dive deep into the good and bad on a new album each week.
Join us as we go track by track through some hand-picked records. This week, we're talking about the artist Elio and her album Elio and Friends, The Remixes.
The remixes. I've never seen this happen before. It might be more popular in like rap, but I've never seen someone just put out a whole album of songs they've already put out, but just like totally redone with features.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting concept. I think, and I think it's done really well here. I think that basically all the songs are produced really well and actually more interesting here on this remix version, and a lot of the features are actually really great and make the song more interesting. And I think this is a really well done version of this concept, which I think will probably start to be more common.
Yeah, well, I think that like features are already getting to be one of the biggest things. Like you're seeing it so much in pop and rap these days, but this is definitely on another level. And I agree with you. I think that the artists that are featured, for the most part, do really well. There's a couple that I don't think do a great job, but for the most part, they all sound really good. They all add a lot to the tracks. I didn't actually listen to the originals, so I don't have much to compare them to. But when the features do appear, for the most part, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've listened to some of the originals, but only like once. But yeah, I think there's some big improvements happening here on the remix version. Anyway, let's just dive in to track number 1, Jackie ONASSIS, which I think is a great lead song. And is really good at creating an atmosphere, and has a catchy hook to boot.
Yeah, this might be my favorite on the whole album. It's really good. It's really catchy. It kind of reminds me of music my mom would listen to when I was growing up. So it's definitely it gave me some nostalgia vibes, and I love the chorus. It's so fun.
Yeah, I think the lyrics are really well written and interesting. I like toying with the idea of people blowing money on trips to Paris, don't care about much anything else beyond that, and but that they're not really necessarily happy.
Yeah, it kind of gives me like spontaneous road trip vibes.
Yeah.
It's a good song for that type of thing, kind of about just dropping everything and not really caring about it and just leaving and going to do what you want.
Anyways, track number 2,
Charger.
I don't wanna come back 'cause I left my charger. I don't wanna go back, it'll make it harder. Should be by the bedside.
Yeah, Charger, and has a big feature in the form of Charlie XCX. I think this song is very well produced. The thump of the bass underneath the chorus, especially the first one, is really well done. And I think this feature adds a lot because you got the star power, and you've also this song really works for her style too. It really feels like a great collab.
Yeah, there's some songs on here that are a little more freeform and a little more emotionally tied. And this one, like lyric-wise, has some emotion to it, but sound-wise, it's very formulaic, and it's straight to the point. Like this, it gives you radio vibes, like everything is exactly how it should be.
This is the most standard pop song.
Right.
I don't think that's a bad thing because everybody wants just a great normal pop song to put on their car radio. It's a great song to listen to times like that, and I think the lyrics are clever in it, that it's it's just kind of like a modern take on relationship troubles. You know, you got 1,000 love songs about coming to pick up records, but here's one about you forgot your charger. I just think that's an interesting update, and I think the lyrics are written really well around that good idea.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about it like that. That's kind of funny. There are a lot of songs about going to pick up your records, and this one is definitely the same theme, but more relatable to people today. That's funny.
Yeah. Track number 3 is Hurts to Hate Somebody, which was my introduction to her as an artist and to the entire record. I found out about it because I already listened to the artist Noah Rome, who's featured on this one. And to me, this is my favorite. I think I like how it's got a really unique message. There's a lot of songs where I'm just kind of bored by what it has to say, and this one I think is actually really profound and unique in its messaging about just, you know, some songs when they're like, oh, I'm mad at someone and I hate them, and it's just like angry, but this is like, yeah, there's someone that I have negative feelings towards, but it's painful for me, and it's not worth holding that grudge. I think it's an uplifting song, and I think it's also really well written, and it's got a catchy hook.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, and I can relate to the message quite a bit. I definitely am big on forgiveness and think that that's super important, but as you grow up and you get older and you have more complex experiences, you start to learn that forgiveness is not always as easy as you thought it would be when you were younger, and you know, sometimes people really hurt you, and it's hard to, it's weird because forgiveness, it's really only for the person forgiving. Like, they're the person who is able to let go of a lot of negative emotion when you do that, and for some reason it's still hard to do sometimes.
I agree, and I think the features on this one provide a really good vocal performance. When I go back and listen to the original, I think I'm always like, oh, it's missing this what they've added, because they changed some of the lyrics too. A lot of these songs too, of course, and
I like that a lot. Yeah. Not, you know,
not just the exact
they could have
same
easily just took the same words and say, okay, now you sing this part instead, but to actually go through and update it, revise it, I think that's pretty cool. And
the production is actually very different. This one's got a lot more going on.
You know, this is kind of a side note about features. I wonder how they did the features on this song, because I think that when I was a kid and I'd think of artists working together, I picture them like flying out and like going to the studio together and just like vibing and collabing. And I betcha, honestly, she probably just sent the stems of this song to these people and they recorded it in their home. Like, that happens probably more than people think, and it still sounds just like it would coming out, or you know, they could still go to a studio or whatever, but a lot of it is not done in person. Yeah,
that's just the nature of how music is made today, and I think that's fine. I think the end product is still great, and you don't always need a studio.
No, I think it almost takes away the magic of it, but it doesn't take away anything from the sound. You know, it's like, it makes it seem kind of like just average Joe's making music, which it is. You know, that's, you know, famous people, they do it exactly the same way, but I think it's just interesting to think about.
Yeah, that's a good note for people who want to know more about, you know, how songs are made. Anyways, we can move on here to next song, which is Come Round, which I think is a good song, but I think I don't have much to say about it. It's just very chill.
I totally agree with you that this song it's not as interesting as the others. This one and a couple others on the album, I think it's like, yeah, this sounds good, and I can throw it on in the background. And it creates a chill vibe, but it doesn't really do anything for me. It's hard. It's not very memorable. One line that I do remember, only because I relate to it so heavily, is when he's talking about, he says something along the lines of, "Sorry that I've been rude. I think I just need food," or something like that.
Yeah, that's a funny
line. Let me tell you, when I'm hungry, I can be so mean to people, and then as soon as I'm not hungry anymore and I eat, it's like, I'm like, why did I act like that? I'm not usually like that, but when I'm hungry, I can definitely be a jerk sometimes, so I get that.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely a real thing, and I think the delivery on that line is really well done. Anyways, the next song here is When You Saw Love, which is what you're talking about. The next couple songs are this, where I think it is a good song. This is the more sad, slow song. The kind of song when I'll put on the whole record just if I need some ambient music to listen to, and I don't skip any of these, but this is definitely one of the less memorable ones.
Yeah, is this... I actually like this one a lot. Is this the one where they talk about, she says something like, "Show me your shoe size, show me your Levi's"? Is that this one, or is that the next one? Oh, I think it is this one. Yeah, I think the chorus is really catchy. Yeah. I don't know what it is about it, because the lyrics don't really mean anything to me, and I can't really decipher them, but I think that I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, all of these choruses are like actually insanely catchy, that trying to compare them to itself, that's the problem compared to just any indie artist. I think these are all actually insanely catchy. It's just a testament to how good her songwriting is, that I say these choruses aren't as good as some of her other ones.
Yeah, well, and even the songs that I don't necessarily love, I don't think are that interesting.
Yeah,
the choruses are still catchy. It's undeniable. Like, you can't listen to this album and be like, well, their choruses weren't good, because they obviously were. It's just a matter of, did they pique your interest or not?
Yeah. Anyways, we can move on to the next one. At Elio, IRL.
Yeah. It looks like a email, but obviously it's not. I don't understand the title, but it's definitely interesting. I don't know why she did it like that, but I don't think it's bad. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, it's clearly very stylized to look like a handle on a social media, but I think I've confused the two, because this is actually the one I think is the slower one that I didn't like as much.
Yeah, this one, so When You Saw Love is slow. It's slower than the other ones, but then this one is even slower and softer. And I think that it's really pretty sounding, and it's definitely sadder. But it's very unlike the other songs.
Yeah, I did confuse the two. I'm listening to this one right now, and this is probably the only one where I don't remember really any parts of it. So I don't have much to say on it, unfortunately.
That's all right. Well, we can move on to My Friends Online.
I like this one. It has I like the part with the modulated vocals that are really deep, and then it comes out thumping with the beat.
For me, this one it starts the decline in interest for me. I think that the rest of the songs above were more interesting than the last few for me personally, and so My Friends Online, I kind of vibed with it, and I kind of thought it was a good feel, but it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I mean, I just I like the beat, and I think this is a fun song to listen to.
I do like the part where the guy's talking and he says, like they're keeping in touch online, but she doesn't know really how he feels. Like she doesn't see the tears he cries. I thought that was interesting. It's true. Like, you can keep up with someone online every day, all day, and you won't really know them until you get to know them in person.
Yeah. Anyways, move on to body language.
Can't read your mind. Your body language is out of context.
A lot of my notes for this record are just mostly on production. I really am impressed by how stunning the production is on all these songs. And this one adds this remix version adds this really slick guitar over most of the song, and I think it's really adds a lot and is really well done.
Body language is it's kind of interesting to me. If you had this sounds so much like a Paris song. I don't know if you thought that as well, but if you had sent this song to me and said, hey, Paris just came out with this new song, what do you think? I would have listened to it and totally believed you, because it sounds just like Paris. But yeah, it's got that like kind of dance vibe, kind of like party vibe. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good song to vibe to. The next song is LA and 2. Which I think is a really catchy song, and the feature is Valley, which I've heard some stuff from them before, and I think they add a lot to the song. I like the line about, what was it? Kiss you through FaceTime? Is that what it is? That's a funny line.
Yeah, that is funny. This song is one of those songs where it's so unbelievably catchy that even though I don't love this song, I found myself singing the chorus to myself. And I'm like, why is this the one that I keep repeating? But it was stuck in my head for a while.
Yeah, this is the chorus, what I was talking about earlier, where it's like, it's so crazy good that, but yeah, by comparison, it's hard to judge the other choruses on the record, but they're all really, really good. But this one is definitely stand out here. And I think this one's just fun to listen to. I actually haven't paid much attention to the lyrics on this one, because I'm just jamming out. You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of how I felt for the last few songs. They blend together a little bit, and even though they're all individually catchy, they still have such a similar vibe to them that I kind of forget what they're about or what they're actually saying.
That only happens to me in the middle section, because I think the first couple songs, like we were talking about, they're like, I know exactly what these are about, and I just they'll stood out, and that's fine. All albums do this. The top is usually where you're gonna put the best songs and the most stand out in that way. So I get it. But yeah, I don't have anything to say about what the song's about, because I haven't put much thought into it here, and we can move on to.
We should definitely spend some time eventually, maybe not now, but in another episode, talking about like album order and why choices are made, because it's so interesting that so many albums fall into, like, the beginning is great, first few songs are so fun and interesting, and then the middle section there's almost like this lull, and it can be created, to like bring you down and then pull you back up. That's a good tactic, but what I'm more talking about is like sometimes you just shove filler songs in there, that aren't even that good, and it's really interesting to see why that is.
I've absolutely noticed that. It's an interesting phenomenon. There are definitely patterns, and I think a lot of artists, either pick up on that and kind of emulate that formula, or if it's just inevitable that some songs are going to be worse than others, and since you're listening through it as an album, you're just kind of gonna, some songs everyone's gonna be like, oh, this isn't as good, and then it's always gets put in the same place. I definitely think it's interesting, and we should definitely talk about that later. Anyways, the last song here is "Waste of Emotion," which I think is a catchy song, but probably has my least favorite feature.
And it's probably gonna be fine. I don't wanna overthink this much. My God, what a waste of emotion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I thought that the feature was actually bad in this one.
I like the melody he's going for, but one of the lines, I can't tell if it was intentional or not. I want to say it was intentional because it feels so wrong to me, but the timing is off on his delivery, and it bugs me. But I feel like I have to say it was intentional. I don't know.
What line is that?
Ah, man, I gotta remember.
The funny thing about this, the feature comes in. Let's see, the feature is Black Star Kid. Mm-hmm. He comes in and he starts kind of doing this weird rhythmic talking, and it doesn't sound good to me. I think it sounded kind of dumb. But then Elio comes back and she does her part kind of in the same style as him, but for some reason she pulls it off so much better than he does.
Yeah, I think we're probably talking about the same thing. And maybe the time wasn't off and I just didn't like it. But like, I can't really tell. But I did feel like something was off. But yeah, when she comes back and she does it, she actually does a great job. I agree. I don't know how she got her voice to sound like. I'm assuming that it was her, right? Like,
I figured. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell with so many people collaborating on these things.
It does get complicated. It does.
I mean, but then later Black Star Kid comes back in and sings, like actually sings this time, and it sounds better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my only problem with the song. Because I do think it has another catchy hook on their record with a bunch of them. Anyways, we can give closing thoughts on the record. I picked this one just as a fun, more like lighthearted album experience, just a collection of great songs. You know, these songs weren't put together for like, oh, this is like a true album experience. This is a collection of songs throughout her career that she wanted to come back and do collabs with, like remixes with, and I've thought it was a fun listen for the past couple weeks, and thought these courses were so catchy they deserved some praise here, and happy to give this an 8 here.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, I think that's all super fair. Yeah, I'm glad you put this on my radar. I'd never heard of Elio before, and I listened to this album, and there's a lot of songs that I'm going to come back to and, you know, listen on other days. I think as a whole, I'm probably not going to come back and listen to the whole album just because number one, it's not necessarily my style. I have to be in the right mood to listen to this type of music, and some of them just didn't stand out as much to me, but the ones that did stand out, I am glad I know about and will keep around for a while. So I agree with you that a lot of the features were great. Some of them, it was like one or two maybe that weren't as great, but the rest were really good, and some of them were even phenomenal, I'd say. So this one's a little harder for me to rate because I'm so not into this genre usually. So I'm gonna give it a 6 for me, just because it's not my thing, you know. And it's hard to tell, like, when rating an album. We've talked about this some back and forth, but like, how do you even rate an album? You know, are we rating it on our experience with the album, or the album's overall feel, or like how well it did, or like, you know, it's hard to say, but I'll say a 6 for me, just because who I am, it didn't land as hard, but I do like a lot of the songs. Yeah,
I think that's fair. I think this was just a good record to look at. That this kind of is a good example of the style I think is gonna keep getting more and more popular with the way pop is produced. Like we talked about with features, you know, we notice all the time artists we like are just pumping out features. And I just think this is an interesting look ahead at what music is going to continue to evolve towards. Anyways, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Please consider subscribing if you'd like. It would help us out more than you know. So thank you, and have a nice day.